Hello and welcome. In this episode we will learn about Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton was one of the greatest scientists in history. He changed the way people understand the world. His ideas helped build modern science. Even today, students and scientists study his work. Newton showed us that one person can change the world with ideas, hard work, and a love for learning. Isaac Newton was born in England in 1643. He was a quiet and curious child. He liked to watch the stars, ask questions, and read books. His family was poor, but Newton studied hard. He went to Cambridge University, where he learned about math and science. During a break from school, he made many of his biggest discoveries at home. Newton asked big questions like, why does an apple fall to the ground? And how do planets move in space? These questions helped him discover the laws of motion and gravity. He also made a new kind of math called calculus and studied light and colors. Newton did not stop learning. He worked day and night. He believed in thinking deeply and testing ideas. He had many challenges in life, but he never gave up. His life teaches us to stay curious and work hard. This episode will tell you the story of Isaac Newton. You will learn about his childhood, his big discoveries, and how he changed the world. It is a story of genius, patience, and determination. Isaac Newton's story is not just about science. It is about the power of ideas and the strength of the human mind. No matter where you come from, you can do great things, just like Newton. Let us begin this journey into the amazing life of Isaac Newton. Chapter 1: Early Life and Education. Isaac Newton was born on January 4, 1643, in a small village called Woolsthorpe in England. He was born very small and weak. People did not think he would live long, but he survived. His father died before he was born. His mother later married another man and left young Isaac to live with his grandparents. As a child, Newton was quiet and liked to be alone. He did not enjoy playing with other children. Instead, he liked to build things and watch the world around him. He made small machines like windmills and water clocks. He was very curious and always asked questions. Newton went to a local school where he learned basic reading and writing. He was not the best student at first, but later, he started to love learning. He worked hard and soon became the top student in his class. His teachers noticed his great mind. When Newton was a teenager, his mother wanted him to work on the family farm. But Isaac did not like farming. He wanted to study. His uncle and teachers helped him go to college. In 1661, he went to Trinity College at the University of Cambridge. At Cambridge, Newton studied math, science, and philosophy. He read many books and began to ask big questions. He wanted to understand the universe. The university helped him grow his knowledge and gave him the tools to explore ideas. Isaac Newton's early life was full of challenges, but his love for learning helped him move forward. His time at school and university was the beginning of a great journey in science. This chapter shows how his childhood and education helped shape the genius he became. Chapter 2: The Plague Years and Solitude at Woolsthorpe. In 1665, a deadly disease called the Great Plague spread across England. Many people became sick and died. To stay safe, schools and colleges closed. Isaac Newton was a student at Cambridge University at that time. He had to leave the city and return to his family home in Woolsthorpe. Woolsthorpe was a quiet village in the countryside. Newton was just 22 years old. He stayed at home for almost 2 years. Even though he was away from school, he did not stop learning. In fact, this time became one of the most important times in his life. He called it his Year of Wonders. At home, Newton spent many hours alone. He thought deeply about math, light, and motion. He did not have teachers or classmates, but he had his books, notes, and his own questions. He wrote in his notebooks and made many new ideas. One day, he saw an apple fall from a tree in his garden. This made him think, why do apples fall down and not up? This simple question helped him think about gravity. Newton began to understand that the same force that pulls an apple to the ground also keeps the moon and planets in their paths. During these quiet years, he also worked on a new type of math called calculus. He also studied how light works by using a glass prism. He made many discoveries all alone. The plague years were hard for many people, but for Newton, it was a time of great thinking. He used the silence and solitude to explore his ideas. These years at Woolsthorpe helped him become one of the greatest scientists in history. Chapter 3: The Birth of Calculus. While Isaac Newton was at home in Woolsthorpe during the plague years, he began to think about new ideas in mathematics. He was trying to understand how things change, like how fast an object moves or how fast a curve grows. To answer these questions, he created a new kind of math. This math is called calculus. Calculus is a way to study motion and change. Before Newton, people could only solve simple problems. But Newton's new method helped to solve harder problems. He used calculus to understand how planets move, how objects fall, and how things speed up or slow down. At first, Newton did not publish his work. He wrote his ideas in his notebooks and kept them to himself. He used strange symbols and words to explain his thoughts. Later, another man named Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz also made calculus in a different way. This started a big argument over who discovered it first. Even though there was a fight over the credit, most people now agree that both Newton and Leibniz helped to create calculus. Newton's way of thinking was very powerful. He used it to support his laws of motion and his theory of gravity. Today, calculus is used in science, engineering, and economics. It helps us understand the world better. It is one of the most important tools in modern science. Newton's creation of calculus shows how smart and creative he was. He made something completely new from his own thinking. This was a big step forward for math and science. Even though he was alone in a small village, his mind was full of big ideas that changed the world. Chapter 4: Discoveries in Optics. While Isaac Newton was at home during the plague years, he also studied light. He wanted to understand how light works and why we see colors. Newton did many experiments using a simple glass object called a prism. A prism is a piece of glass that can bend light. One day, Newton let sunlight pass through a small hole in a dark room. He placed a prism in the path of the light. To his surprise, the white light changed into many colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. This line of colors is called a spectrum. Before Newton, many people thought that white light was pure and simple. They believed that colors came from the glass or from the object the light hit. But Newton showed that white light is made up of many colors. He proved that color is a part of light itself. To test his idea, Newton used a second prism to mix the colors back into white light. This showed that white light is a mix of all the colors of the rainbow. His experiments were simple, but they changed the way people understood light. Newton also made a new kind of telescope. It used mirrors instead of lenses. This telescope was smaller and gave a clearer image. It helped people see the stars better. Today, we call it the reflecting telescope. Newton's work in optics was just as important as his work in math and gravity. He helped people see light in a new way. His careful experiments and smart ideas opened new doors in science. His discoveries in optics showed the world that simple tools and big questions can lead to amazing answers. Chapter 5: Laws of Motion and Universal Gravitation. Isaac Newton is most famous for his laws of motion and the law of universal gravitation. These ideas helped people understand how things move and why they move the way they do. Before Newton, people knew some facts about motion, but they did not know the full rules. Newton gave us a clear and simple way to explain it. Newton's first law of motion says that an object will stay still or keep moving in the same way unless something pushes or pulls it. This means a ball on the ground will not move unless you kick it. His second law says that the force on an object depends on its mass and how fast it is speeding up. This means a heavy object needs more force to move than a light one. His third law says that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. If you jump off a boat, the boat moves back. This is because your push on the boat makes it push back on you. Newton also thought about why apples fall to the ground and why the moon stays in the sky. He found that the same force, called gravity, pulls objects to the ground and keeps planets in their paths around the sun. This is called the law of universal gravitation. He said that every object in the universe pulls on every other object. The bigger the object, the stronger the pull. This idea helped people understand the motion of the planets and stars. Newton's laws changed the world. They are still used in science, engineering, and space travel today. With clear thinking and simple words, Newton gave us the tools to understand how the world moves. Chapter 6. Publication of Principia Mathematica. In 1687, Isaac Newton published one of the most important books in science. It was called Philosophiae Naturalis Principia Mathematica, or just Principia Mathematica. This book changed the way people saw the world. It explained how objects move and how gravity works. In Principia, Newton wrote about his 3 laws of motion. He also wrote about the law of universal gravitation. These ideas helped people understand why things fall, how the planets move, and how the moon stays in the sky. Newton used math to explain everything clearly. At first, Newton did not want to publish his work. He was very careful and quiet. But his friend Edmund Halley, who was also a scientist, encouraged him. Halley even paid for the printing of the book. Without Halley's help, Principia might never have been printed. The book was written in Latin, the language of science at that time. It was not easy to read, but it was full of powerful ideas. Scientists all over Europe read it and began to use Newton's laws in their own work. It was a big step forward for science. Principia Mathematica showed that the same rules work on Earth and in space. Newton's ideas helped people believe that the universe is ordered and can be understood with math and science. Even today, Newton's book is remembered as one of the greatest works in science. It is a symbol of human thinking and discovery. Newton proved that with hard work and careful thought, we can understand the world around us. The publication of Principia Mathematica was a turning point in history. It helped start a new age of science and reason that changed the world forever. Chapter 7. Conflict with Contemporaries. Isaac Newton was a great thinker, but he also had many conflicts with other scientists of his time. He worked hard on his ideas, and he wanted others to respect his work. Sometimes, when someone disagreed with him or claimed the same discovery, Newton became angry and defensive. One of Newton's biggest conflicts was with a German scientist named Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz. Both Newton and Leibniz worked on a new kind of math called calculus. Newton developed his ideas first but did not publish them right away. Leibniz published his work later, but his method was different. This led to a big argument about who was first. Newton believed Leibniz copied his work. Many people took sides. Some supported Newton, and others supported Leibniz. The fight lasted for many years and hurt both scientists. Today, we know that both men developed calculus on their own. Newton also had disagreements with other scientists like Robert Hooke. Hooke worked on light and gravity too. When Newton shared his ideas, Hooke said that he had the same thoughts before. Newton did not like this and stopped sharing his work for some time. Later, Newton became the president of the Royal Society, a group of top scientists. He used his position to support his own ideas and block his rivals. This made some people afraid of him, but others respected his power. Even though Newton had many arguments, he continued to do great work. His conflicts show that science is not only about discovery, but also about communication and respect. Newton's story teaches us that great minds can disagree. What matters most is the search for truth and the knowledge we gain from it. Chapter 8. Role at the Royal Mint. In 1696, Isaac Newton took a new job. He became warden of the Royal Mint in London. The Royal Mint was the place where money was made for the country. Newton's job was to make sure coins were made correctly and to stop people who made fake money. At that time, many coins in England were old, broken, or fake. This was a big problem for the country's economy. People did not trust the money. Newton worked very hard to fix this. He helped change all the old coins and made sure the new ones were strong and safe. Newton was very serious about his work. He studied the problem carefully and found the people who were making fake coins. He even went to the streets and talked to criminals to catch them. Some of the people he caught were put on trial and punished. In 1699, Newton was given a higher job. He became master of the mint. He had more power and more responsibility. He used math and science to improve the way coins were made. He made sure that every coin had the correct weight and shape. Even though this job was not about physics or math, Newton did it very well. He worked at the Royal Mint for the rest of his life. Because of him, the English money system became strong and trusted again. Newton's time at the Royal Mint showed that he was not only a great scientist but also a smart and honest public worker. He used his sharp mind to help his country. His work helped make the British coin system one of the best in Europe. This chapter shows that Newton's talents went far beyond science and into real-world problems. Chapter 9. Later Years and Religious Beliefs. In his later years, Isaac Newton became a very famous man. He received many honors for his work in science and for his job at the Royal Mint. In 1703, he became the president of the Royal Society, the most important group of scientists in England. He stayed in that role for many years. In 1705, Queen Anne gave Newton a special title. He was knighted and became Sir Isaac Newton. This was a great honor and showed how much the country respected his work. Even though he was famous, Newton lived a quiet life. He did not marry or have children. He spent his time reading, writing, and thinking. He also enjoyed talking with other scientists and helping young students. Besides science, Newton had a deep interest in religion. He read the Bible often and wrote many papers about God, time, and the end of the world. Newton believed that the universe was created by God and followed his laws. He thought that science and faith could work together. Newton also studied old texts and tried to understand secret messages in the Bible. He believed that God's plan could be found through careful study. Some of his religious ideas were very different from the church, so he kept them private. As he grew older, Newton had health problems, but he continued to work until the end of his life. He died on March 31, 1727, at the age of 84. He was buried in Westminster Abbey, a great honor given to very important people in Britain. Newton's later years showed his deep love for learning and faith. He was not only a man of science but also a man of spirit, always searching for truth in both nature and God. Chapter 10. Legacy and Impact on Modern Science. Isaac Newton left a great legacy. His work changed the world of science forever. He gave us new ways to understand motion, gravity, light, and math. Even today, scientists and students around the world learn from his ideas. Newton's laws of motion and gravity helped people understand how everything moves, from falling apples to flying rockets. These laws are still used in schools, science books, and space programs. His work made science clear and easy to test. This is called the scientific method, and it helps people learn about the world step by step. His book, Principia Mathematica, is one of the most important books in science. It showed that the same rules work in the sky and on Earth. This helped people believe that the universe is not full of magic, but full of order and reason. Newton also made a new kind of math called calculus. Today, calculus is used in many fields like physics, engineering, and economics. It helps us build bridges, launch satellites, and even make smartphones. Besides science, Newton showed that one person with deep thinking and hard work can change the world. He worked alone for many years, but his ideas reached every corner of the earth. Newton's name is remembered in schools, books, and history. He is called the father of modern science. His thinking opened the door for great scientists like Albert Einstein and many others. Isaac Newton's legacy is not just about facts and formulas. It is about the power of curiosity, patience, and the search for truth. He taught us to ask big questions and never stop learning. His impact will live on for many generations to come. Vocabulary. 1. Curious, wanting to know or learn something. Example: Newton was a curious child who asked many questions. 2. Prism, a glass object that separates white light into different colors. Example: Newton used a prism to study light and color. 3. Motion, the act of moving or changing place. Example: Newton's laws explain the motion of objects. 4. Gravity, the force that pulls objects toward each other, like toward the ground. Example: Gravity makes apples fall from trees. 5. Calculus, a kind of advanced mathematics used to study change and motion. Example: Newton invented calculus to solve hard problems in science. 6. Telescope, a tool used to see faraway things like stars and planets. Example: Newton made a better kind of telescope using mirrors. 7. Legacy, something important left behind for others to remember or learn from. Example: Newton's legacy still helps scientists today. 8. Mint, a place where money is made. Example: Newton worked at the Royal Mint to improve coins. 9. Contemporaries, people who live at the same time. Example: Newton had conflicts with some of his contemporaries. 10. Scientific method, a step-by-step way to study and test ideas in science. Example: Newton's work helped develop the scientific method. Quiz questions. 1. Where was Isaac Newton born? 2. Why did Newton return to Woolsthorpe from Cambridge University in 1665? 3. What new type of mathematics did Newton create to study change and motion? 4. What tool did Newton use to show that white light is made of many colors? 5. What does Newton's third law of motion say about action and reaction? 6. What is the name of Newton's famous science book published in 1687? 7. Who had a famous conflict with Newton over the invention of calculus? 8. What was Newton's job at the Royal Mint? 9. What did Newton believe about the relationship between science and God? 10. What title is often given to Isaac Newton because of his impact on science? Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed learning with us. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, and share it with your friends and family. Your support helps us grow and bring you more inspiring stories and easy English learning content. Do you have a topic you'd like us to cover in our next video? Maybe a famous person, an invention, or a country? Let us know in the comments or messages. We'd love to hear your ideas. You can find answers for the quiz questions in the description. Thanks again, and keep learning with us. See you in the next video.